I'm notoriously known in the entertainment industry as a doting sister. Yet during a family reality show, Sophie exposed my true colors to the world. I refused to eat the food she served me or drink the water she offered. After the program aired, I became social media's favorite punching bag and gradually faded into obscurity. But no one knew the truth. I died. My own sister disfigured my face with acid and threw me into the freezing ocean to drown. When I open my eyes again, I've returned to the day of the show's filming. Just like my previous life. Before I can respond to the knocking, the door bursts open. Mrs. Johnson storms in with thunderous fury. Emily, did you steal the diamond necklace I brought home yesterday? The air grows heavy. I remain silent. My gaze locked on Sophie hiding behind our mother. She avoids eye contact, her pale face betraying a smugness I'd never noticed before. Sophie and I are fraternal twins born as opposites. I inherited our father's robust health while she got our mother's delicate features and severe congenital heart disease. Since childhood, I've indulged her every whim. Whenever she wanted something, I moved heaven and earth to get it. When our parents grew disgusted by Sophie's sickly appearance as a child, I became her protector. When they tried to erase her existence from family conversations, I forced them to acknowledge their second daughter. When they wanted to cut off her medical treatment as adults, I knelt and begged for her life. But I never imagined my sweet baby sister was a wolf in sheep's clothing. When kidnappers took me, Sophie never showed her face, just ordered her henchmen to torture me. They poured acid on my face and severed my tendons to prevent escape. She only appeared when I hovered near death. Why? I croaked through ruined lips. Her eyes glittered with madness. Did you ever feel guilty for stealing our parents' love? Sister? The chilling seawater still stings my memory as I watch Sophie now. This time, when she offers me shrimp from her plate, I swallow it whole before collapsing dramatically. Let's see how you like drowning in consequences this time. Dear sister. The familiar burning spreads through my veins as I hit the floor. Sophie's feigned scream of alarm echoes through the set. Camera flashes erupt. This time, the world will witness her betrayal in 4K resolution. I close my eyes, savoring the sweet poison working through my system. Let the games begin. I looked at Mother, whose face was flushed with anger. Today was the day our family reality show crew came for the live broadcast. Sophie had gone to Mother first thing in the morning, falsely accusing me of stealing an expensive diamond necklace. She wanted to provoke me into losing my temper on camera. In my past life, she'd succeeded. My coldness towards Sophie after her framed accusation made netizens question my authenticity, destroying my reputation overnight. When I remained silent, Mother's fury intensified. Emily, what did we pay $3,000 per hour for those etiquette lessons? Are you ignoring your elders now? I blinked innocently. Why are you so upset? Mom? I did take the necklace. Sophie said she'd never seen such exquisite jewelry and begged me to show it to her. My voice softened with sisterly concern. I thought no daughter of the Johnson family should lack basic refinement. So I agreed. You were already asleep when I retrieved it last night. Did something happen? Mother froze, her gaze darting between Sophie and me. Here you go. I rubbed sleep from my eyes, producing the necklace from my drawer. Sophie paled further, shock etching her features. She'd planted that necklace in my room last night, planning to discover it after my denial. Now her own trap snapped shut. Mother glared at Sophie before smiling apologetically at me. Forgive me, Emily. This was meant as a gift. Losing it would have disappointed your father. No harm done, I said sweetly. As Mother patted my head and dragged away the seething Sophie, the girl shot me desperate looks. I smiled serenely, savoring the muffled scolding from next door. Sophie wanted to destroy me, forgetting I was her only true ally here. 3 years ago, Father had pushed me into entertainment to revive Johnson Entertainment's fading relevance. My debut as the stunning heiress went viral overnight. When our family approached us after my accidental devoted sister persona captivated audiences, I'd tried refusing to protect Sophie's fragile health. Father overruled me with volcanic fury. Back then, I'd felt guilty. Now I knew better. Knock, knock. Miss Emily? The crew is here. Outside the bedroom. A servant's voice called out. I responded with a coming. And pushed open the door. Downstairs. Mother sat poised on the sofa. Every movement exuding aristocratic grace. Sophie Martin stood in a white dress. Her sickly pale complexion contrasting dramatically with the rouge at her eyelids as she fluttered her lashes at the cameras, the perfect picture of fragile innocence begging protection. I observed this harmonious scene before descending the stairs. My footsteps instantly redirected all attention. Camera lenses that had been focused on Sophie swiveled toward me, making the live chat explode. Holy shit. Emily's gorgeous. That raven hair with crimson dress combo needs to be her permanent look. Wifey lives up to her Gilded Rose nickname. Those lips look lethal enough to kiss someone to death. Enough with the delicate rich girl act. Lock me in a dungeon with this glamorous queen forever. I settled onto the sofa. Mother's eyes flickered with approval as she took my hand. Simultaneously, I felt venomous stares burning into me. Looking up, I caught Sophie glaring with undisguised malice before she hastily lowered her gaze. Everything all right? Sophie? I asked with feigned concern. Nothing. I just got lost in how stunning you look. Sis. She ducked her head in pretend shyness. I held her gaze a beat too long. Last lifetime. I'd descended these stairs wearing the frilly pastel dress Sophie chose for me, dutifully maintaining my pure lily persona. How could any cultivated innocence compare to Sophie's authentic sickly charm? By that first livestream's end, my goddess title had transferred to her along with my initial fanbase, the very reason my parents later dismissed my drowning accident as quickly as one might discard spoiled milk. To them, any daughter achieving their ambitions would suffice. Sophie was soon excused to rest, only reappearing at dinner when father arrived reeking of his mistress' perfume. Our performance of familial bliss warmed the dining atmosphere. Congratulations on crossing 100 million at the box office. Darling. Mom's so proud. Mother placed braised ribs in my bowl. I beamed without false modesty. If looks could kill, Sophie's glare would have flayed me alive. I continued lavishing attention on our parents, deliberately dragging Sophie into conversations until dessert. As plates cleared, Sophie finally made her move. I'm so happy for you. Sis. She sighed with calculated weakness. If only I were strong enough to visit theaters. The temperature dropped. Our parents exchanged glances. Sophie Martin and I simultaneously lowered our heads to hide our mutual irritation. I pressed my lips together, forcing a strained smile. You will. Sophie. You'll see. Sophie shook her head, her eyes welling up. Thank you for comforting me. Emily. I'm sorry for ruining the mood. Don't say that. I murmured tenderly, cupping her face. We're family. She nuzzled against my palm before placing a shrimp in my bowl with her chopsticks. Eat up. Emily. I froze. Of course. Aren't you going to try it? Her voice quivered with poorly concealed anticipation. You're not mad at me, are you? The dining room plunged into awkward silence as I stared at the shrimp, chopsticks hovering. Our parents exchanged confused glances but remained quiet. When I didn't move, Sophie's smile crumpled. She reached timidly to retrieve the shrimp. I swallowed it whole. See? My smile felt like cracked porcelain. Sophie blinked, thrown off balance by my compliance. Before she could speak, a scream ripped through the air. The housekeeper stumbled into the dining room, face ashen. Miss Emily Johnson is severely allergic to seafood. Call 911. As skeptical murmurs rose, my body hit the floor with a thud. Angry red hives bloomed across my skin. Chaos erupted. Enjoy your victory, Sophie. But can you handle what comes next? I awoke to my mother's tear-streaked face hovering above my hospital bed. My baby. She clutched my hand, warm droplets splashing onto my wrist. You gave us such a scare. Mom, I rasped, throat burning. My father appeared at her shoulder, Dress shirt wrinkled beyond recognition. This is all our fault. That dish was right in front of Sophie, we didn't realize. A coughing fit seized me. Each hack scraping my raw airways. Across the room, Sophie stood frozen in the doorway. Her triumph curdling into dread. Allergies aren't fake. It's just that in this family, none of my blood relatives bother to understand. Even when I woke up after the incident, their first words were excuses to absolve themselves. Not that I'm surprised, this is how they've always been. When the internet crucified me, they swiftly threw me under the bus to save their own skins. Now history repeats itself. Except this time my dear sister Sophie's the one under the spotlight. Scanning the hospital room, I spotted Sophie cowering in the corner. Sophie, come here, I called. Those tear-filled eyes darted up, meeting mine for a split second before dropping again. I'm sorry, Emily. Her trembling voice and hunched shoulders painted the perfect picture of a frightened fawn. I had to admire her cunning. Sophie always weaponized her fragility. Even cornered, she could weaponize those dewy eyes and trembling lips to flip any situation. Like right now. The moment she spoke, camera lenses swiveled toward the previously ignored corner. I'm so sorry, Emily. She hiccuped. All these years eating alone in my room. I never knew about your shellfish allergy. A dramatic pause. Then her shoulders relaxed with fake relief. Thank God you're healthy. If you were as sickly as me, I'd have to kill myself to atone. The room collectively sighed at this display of sisterly devotion. But I noticed her fingers absently stroking her palm, her telltale sign of secret delight. Maintaining my vapid smile, I delivered the counter blow. Don't blame yourself, Sophie. How could you know when I never told you? Besides, I giggled, flexing non-existent biceps. This happens every time you share your favorite shrimp dishes. I'm practically immune now. Sophie's crying jag hitched. Her mask slipped for a heartbeat, rage flashing behind those still, damp lashes before she whispered. You should have told me. I kept smiling. Let her play the martyr. Her little reality show ambushed to destroy my career by exposing our non-existent sisterly bond? I'll turn her staged drama into my golden ticket. After 24 hours of observation, the discharge nurse lectured me like a misbehaving child. We were clearly on first-name basis. My parents nodded along. Their concern as genuine as Sophie's tears. Home alone. I checked my phone. 3 trending tags. Hashtag Emily Johnson allergy, hashtag family reality show disaster, hashtag does Emily Johnson family care. The third tag's comments section was a war zone. Honestly, do you really think there's genuine affection in wealthy families? The Johnsons are all rotten to the core. Emily is so thoughtful, explaining everything to spare Sophie's feelings. I'm allergic to apples too, but one bite won't kill me. My family overreacts every time, compared to the Johnsons' negligence. Their true colors are obvious. That's harsh. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are just careless. And Sophie's been bedridden with heart issues. Why the vitriol? Sophie's condition isn't Emily's fault. But Emily's allergy attack was caused by her. The doctor said one more bite could have been fatal. Netizens were at each other's throats. I turned off my phone, gazing at the starry sky through the window. For the first time, the vicious accusations that haunted my final moments dissolved into nothingness. I slept soundly until commotion woke me. Photographers already camped outside my room. I greeted them politely before heading downstairs. Then froze mid-step. Last life. Refusing Sophie's shrimp got me trending as the family's black sheep. Dad threw me under the bus on camera. His venomous tirade going viral. Now I'm still upstairs. Who's his target this time? His roar intensified with each step I took. Dad. What's wrong? I approached, expression faltering briefly at the sight of his opponent before smoothing over. He snorted. Ask this lunatic Ethan. Barging in at dawn to make trouble. My gaze dropped to their intertwined hands, a scene straight out of a cheesy elopement drama. Ethan sneered. Lunatic? Your golden child Emily gets all the attention, why shouldn't I take Sophie away? Sophie glanced back tearfully, mouthing help me. Sis. I blinked rapidly. Wait. Spit it out. Ethan glared. Release her. Mr. Brown. Sophie's heart can't handle this strain. Ethan scoffed. What's with the act? His accusatory glare burned into me. If you hadn't pretended to be nice to Sophie while secretly manipulating her with your ulterior motives, she wouldn't have struggled with her health all these years. The baseless accusation made my expression frost over. Do you have proof of this supposed mistreatment? Or are you just spewing slanderous lies? I stepped closer, my voice dropping dangerously. Defamation carries legal consequences. The Johnson Entertainment legal team would be more than happy to file a lawsuit against Brown Group over these fabrications. His jaw tightened as I continued. We're the same age. Ethan. If I can represent the Johnson family interests, surely you have equal authority in your family affairs? The barb hit its mark. Everyone knew the Browns' chaotic succession battles had left Ethan stripped of shares last year after being outmaneuvered by his half-siblings, reducing him to a figurehead with no real power. He sputtered furiously. I cut him off with a derisive laugh. More importantly, did you even consider whether Sophie wants to leave with you? This entire pathetic display reeks of desperation. All eyes turned to Sophie, who kept her head bowed. From my angle, I caught the fleeting malice twisting her features before she murmured, I don't want to go. Ethan froze. What? I said no. Sophie repeated louder, briefly meeting his gaze with a subtle eye signal the cameras couldn't catch. His fists clenched in understanding. A choked laugh escaped me before I could stop it. Humiliated, Ethan stormed out without another word. As the drama concluded, Mr. Johnson sank into his chair muttering, where did that hot-headed fool even hear such nonsense? Ruining the morning with his theatrics left a bad taste in everyone's mouths. The unspoken tension lingered. Sophie's little stunt had successfully planted seeds of doubt in the viewers' minds. One misstep from me, and those seeds would blossom into weapons aimed at my throat. But for now, the stage remained mine. Mother Johnson patted his back soothingly. Hearing this, my lips curved as if talking to myself. Acting crazy? Seems more like he came to back her up. That dramatic victim act, he wouldn't dare without solid proof. As my words hung in the air, every gaze in the room converged on Sophie standing rigidly with panic flashing across her face. I smirked. Having fun sweating bullets now. Sis? Sophie. Explain yourself. Father Johnson slammed the table, making her jump. Daddy. She stammered, caught between admitting the truth and protecting her image. Confessing would fuel endless gossip. Yet staying silent made no sense. No sane girl would have tolerated a stranger grabbing her wrist like she did. After prolonged silence, Sophie's voice trembled. I never imagined he'd go this far. I swear I never badmouthed our family. Her desperate declaration met our parents' stony disbelief. Turning to me with tear-filled eyes, she pleaded, Emily, please believe me. She carefully avoided mentioning where she'd met Ethan, offering only hollow denials. Pale as death, those pleading eyes locked onto mine until she suddenly collapsed. Chaos erupted. Sophie. I rushed forward, finding her clutching her chest with blue-tinged lips. A bloody gash marred her forehead from hitting the sofa edge. Believe me, she whispered weakly, shoving nitroglycerin under her tongue. I nodded. I believe you. Relieved, she managed a frail smile before leaning on me to return to her room. After settling her, our group dispersed. As I closed her door, Sophie's soft voice stopped me. You've changed lately, Emily. Through the narrowing gap, our eyes met as she smiled innocently. Have I? I replied flatly, shutting out her probing gaze. People change. But don't worry. No matter what, you'll always be my sister. Sophie froze momentarily, a flicker of resentment surfacing in her eyes as she murmured, You're so good to me, sis. I smiled without responding. Sophie had long lost her grip on reality. Day after day, she craved love, waited for love, until that longing calcified into an obsession buried deep in her heart. Yet she knew our parents' true nature all along. This self-deception was simply her last refuge. Closing the bedroom door, I descended to perform our family's daily charade, the picture-perfect wealthy clan exchanging hollow pleasantries. The live stream chat had exploded into chaos since Ethan's abrupt departure earlier. Unbelievable. Boycott Brown Group. If the CEO's this trashy, their products must suck. Why didn't the sister explain things from the start? This whole mess could have been avoided. Emily's such a badass protecting her sis. Wish I had a sibling like that to cuddle with 24/7. Cut the little sister some slack, she looked pale the whole time. Probably having a panic attack. Girls. Something bigger's brewing. I'm camping in this stream all night. Nightfall brought a call from my agent. Sister Wang. Her trademark booming voice made my eyes sting. Last lifetime. She'd been the only one searching tirelessly after my kidnapping, while our parents did nothing. Of course, Sophie had weaponized that loyalty, luring her with fake leads only to have her stripped, beaten, and dumped in red light district hell. Need something? Suddenly I'm Sister Wang again? Her sarcasm crackled through the receiver. Not Wang you anymore. Emily? You're really something else. I laughed through unshed tears, relief flooding me. I was blind. Forgive me? 2 weeks prior, she'd warned me about Sophie's true nature. I'd accused her of jealousy and spat venomous words. Whatever. Clear your schedule tomorrow, I got through to Olivia. My pulse quickened. Perfect. Ethan's reappearance today had been a wake-up call. Unless eliminated, he'd remain Sophie's ace for resurgence. This afternoon, I'd secretly asked Sister Wang to contact Olivia instead, if Sophie could recruit allies. So could I. The Brown siblings were legends, Ethan the incompetent Nepo baby versus Olivia, the strategic powerhouse. Despite being the illegitimate daughter, she'd earned boardroom respect through sheer brilliance since her teens. Yet paternal favoritism kept her shackled as VP while Ethan played CEO, a hollow title propped up by Daddy's connections. Olivia's willingness to collaborate didn't surprise me. Every chess master craves worthy opponents and liberation. Let's go. Sister Wang executed a perfect drift and parked sharply at the Johnson family villa entrance. After requesting a day off from the production crew this morning under the guise of confidential filming commitments, which they eagerly approved. Assuming some blockbuster project, I, Emily Johnson, arrived at the upscale restaurant Olivia had booked. The private dining room already held its occupant when I entered. Olivia cut straight to business. Miss Johnson, I never imagined collaborating with you. I arched an eyebrow. Do explain. Everyone in this city knows the Johnson heiress would move mountains for her sister. She countered, sliding a dossier across the table. Consider this my goodwill gesture. The documents detailing Sophie and Ethan's recent activities made me inhale sharply. Compiling this intel overnight proved Olivia's formidable capabilities. I raised my teacup in toast. To your efficiency, Ms. Davis. She clinked her glass against mine. Flattery aside, I need your candid assessment. What are our actual odds here? Meeting her gaze, I enunciated slowly, this ends only when one of us is gone. Meanwhile, Sophie had been unusually active since her cardiac episode. The girl who'd barely left her bedroom now descended for breakfast, right as Mrs. Johnson mentioned tomorrow's charity gala. Mother, may I attend? Sophie's request hung in the air during the filmed family meal. Mrs. Johnson's smile tightened. Darling, your health comes first. Imagine if something happened. Sophie's eyes glistened as she whispered. I'll be careful. I promise. The tense back and forth concluded with reluctant permission. Sophie brightened instantly, clinging to Mrs. Johnson's arm with theatrical affection. Observing this performance, I pondered, why risk confrontation over a minor social event? What game was Sophie playing now? My confusion didn't last long. As the banquet approached, our Johnson family arrived fashionably late. Mr. Johnson always insisted on making a grand entrance to assert his status, while business elites privately scoffed at this pretentiousness. Their polite masks remained firmly in place. But tonight was different. The moment we stepped into the ballroom, dozens of eyes subtly tracked our movement. Even my usual socialite rivals wore poorly concealed smirks. My instincts screamed danger. After excusing myself from my parents, I tried finding a quiet corner to call Olivia. But Sophie immediately clutched my arm with deceptively delicate fingers. "Emily, shouldn't you stay for the opening ceremony?" Her saccharine tone made my stomach churn. Noticing the camera crew behind us, I countered smoothly, "Sophie darling, the reality show crew needs proper seating arrangements. We can't have them standing all night." I gestured toward the cameraman struggling with equipment. Her smile tightened. "Let me handle it instead. You're better at schmoozing with the big wigs anyway." The harder she resisted, the more certain I became of her scheme. I laughed abruptly, abandoning subtlety. "Sweetheart, how will you manage seating charts when you barely know anyone here? These galas don't just add folding chairs like backyard barbecues." Her manicured nails dug into my flesh before I shook free. "Be good, Sophie. Doctor's orders, don't overexert yourself." I strode away, leaving her speechless. If she wanted open warfare instead of backhanded compliments and fake humility, I'd gladly oblige. After hastily directing camera placements, I rushed to the restroom. My offline phone confirmed suspicions. Sophie must have tampered with it during afternoon dress fittings. Steeling myself, I froze at muffled voices outside. "Gold dress, pills is payment, $500K. The conversation continued. I glanced down at the golden gown I was wearing, then carefully removed my high heels. Moving silently to the restroom entrance, I peered down the exposed hallway. A man's hand extended briefly, passing a small vial to a waitress before hurrying away. My heels clicked sharply against the marble floor as I approached. The waitress paled upon seeing me. "Miss Emily." I arched an eyebrow. "You know me?" I'm your fan," she stammered. A familiar drawl interrupted us. "Funny. So am I." Olivia leaned against the wall, her crimson slip dress contrasting with her casual slouch. "Since we're all fans, tell us Emily's official fan color." The waitress hesitated. "Purple?" "Wrong answer." Olivia smirked. "It's gold." As the imposter bolted, I grabbed her ponytail and hauled her into a restroom stall. Olivia efficiently searched her, photographing the vial. Her security team responded instantly. "Date rape drug, foreign manufacture. Potency exceeds standard formulas 5x. Nausea washed over me. This trap would have been far deadlier than last time. Olivia knocked out the woman cold with a practiced chop to the neck. "Childhood martial arts training." She shrugged at my surprised look. "Impressive," I acknowledged. "But you said you weren't coming. Because you need to see this." She shoved her phone at me. Viral posts accused Emily of trading sexual favors with the Johnson family for contracts, accompanied by badly photoshopped nudes. "Your agent's phone's swamped. This smear campaign's blowing up." I examined the grainy images. Amateur edits. Who'd believe this? Enough idiots to trend #GoldDiggerJohnson. Olivia spat. "They're not even using your real birthmark. What does P's opinion matter? If this succeeds, even if they point at some promiscuous pig and claim it's me, no one would question it. That's just how online culture works. One person speaks, and 10,000 echo. If you look through a telescope and see a monkey while others see a sheep, then what you saw becomes sheep. But the truth? Everyone actually saw monkeys." Olivia paused. "Pathetic," she added. "When I first entered the banquet hall, before I even found you, I saw Ethan wearing a waiter's uniform, sneaking around suspiciously. Followed him and witnessed that whole scene earlier. I truly underestimated my little brother. To think he could slip past my surveillance." Olivia's voice carried genuine remorse. I smoothed my gown. "True enough. He might evade your spies, but never you. The legendary hawk-eyed CEO." I teased softly. Olivia laughed and playfully swatted at me. "Enough joking. Time for serious matters." I leaned close to whisper in Olivia's ear. After exchanging a few hushed sentences, we parted ways. The medicine bottle felt cool in my palm. I smiled. Such precious merchandise. Wasting it on myself would be criminal. When I returned to my seat, the host's speech had concluded. Sophie eyed me suspiciously. Emily. What took you so long? Where did you go? I pinched her cheek. Ran into an old friend who insisted on catching up. Impatient. Little sister? She pouted. It's awkward being alone when you're gone. Then stick close to me later, I said. Lips curving. Sophie brightened immediately. Promise. If she wants front row seats to watch me fall into the abyss. Let's see if she realizes the darkness drags down spectators too. Charity galas all follow the same script. After donation ceremonies come socialite small talk. Normally, the Johnsons would be surrounded by crowds. But tonight cold isolation enveloped us. Even father's closest associates hurried past with strained smiles. My parents exchanged uneasy glances, finally sensing something wrong. Before they could investigate, a familiar voice interrupted. Mr. Johnson. Long time no see. Business must be booming these days. I turned to see Alexander Bennett, father's longtime rival, approaching with his daughter, my personal nemesis, in tow. Father initially mistook this for routine flattery. His response died when Bennett continued, selling off daughters now. I concede defeat in this arena. Bennett. What vile nonsense are you spouting? Father's face flushed crimson, desperately trying to contain damage to his precious reputation. Uncle Johnson. My dad isn't lying. How can it be a lie when the whole world knows? Isabella Bennett giggled, her words dripping with venom. I narrowed my eyes, watching her coldly. You'll regret spewing such nonsense. Don't forget to admire your own stunning performance later. Superstar. The Bennett father-daughter duo sneered before strutting off. My hands trembled with rage. How dare they spread these lies? Enough. Stop embarrassing us. My father snapped, cutting me off mid-protest. Humiliated by tonight's scandal, he redirected his fury toward me, the easiest target. Predictable. But the live stream viewers weren't having it. Since when does Mr. Johnson blame the victim? His daughter gets slandered and he's the one yelling? Maybe Daddy knows something we don't. My heart breaks for Emily. Remember her allergic reaction last month? These parents are trash. My mother nudged my fuming father upon noticing the cameras. He cleared his throat, scrambling to salvage his image. I let out a dramatic humph and stormed off before he could spin more lies. Sophie materialized like the perfect concerned sister. Let me check on her, she called sweetly. The crowded ballroom swallowed her words as I slipped into a secluded corner. Don't be upset, sis, Sophie cooed, catching up with flushed cheeks. I'll make Dad apologize. Her tiny fists shook with fake indignation. I sniffled through rehearsed complaints until she took the bait. 2 champagne flutes arrived. I tilted my head to wipe tears, missing nothing as Sophie sprinkled powder into my glass. The bubbly burned my throat as I drained it. Why, you're drunk, Sophie stammered minutes later when my cheeks flushed crimson. Let's get you upstairs. She half dragged me to the penthouse. Wheezing from the effort, her first real workout in 18 years. I slumped on the sofa, whimpering about the heat. Sophie gripped my chin, her angelic mask slipping. Enjoy my gift, sis, she whispered before slamming the door. Click. The lock engaged from outside. Sophie's fists pounded the unyielding wood. Open this right now. My eyes fluttered open. Oh, I'll treasure this gift forever, I purred, dangling the hotel key I'd pickpocket during our heartfelt hug. Hearing my voice, Sophie turned around as if she'd seen a ghost, her voice trembling. How did you? Looking at her, I felt particularly amused. How didn't I faint? Why am I unaffected? Wondering why the aphrodisiac hasn't worked yet? Pick your question. Sis, I'll answer them all. Sophie's face hardened with understanding. You tricked me. I smiled sweetly. Obviously. Open the door. I'm leaving. She kicked the wall like a petulant child, her commands slipping out as naturally as when she used to wheedle favors from me. I straightened my posture and clapped twice. 8 burly men Sophie had hired came tumbling out, followed by Olivia dragging a tightly bound Ethan. What are you doing? Emily. Please. I'm sorry. Sophie began begging as danger dawned on her. I chuckled. Relax. I'll take these 8 gentlemen off your hands. My finger landed on Ethan, veins bulging as he strained against ropes, clothes torn from his own frantic clawing. Just leaving you one gift. Sophie's tears flowed freely now. I'll obey you forever. Please don't, she even dropped to her knees. The sight twisted my gut. Not long ago, I'd knelt exactly like this, begging her to spare me and Mrs. Wang. What did I get? Kicks and punches. Pity her weak heart couldn't handle real punishment, death would have ended this game too soon. I gripped her chin. Sophie, my turn now. My parents found me chatting with Olivia. Dad poked my forehead. Still sulking? I am not. I mumbled. He put on his best remorseful act. We're sorry. Emily. I almost rolled my eyes, this man deserved an Oscar. After his theatrics. I reluctantly forgave him. Glancing around, I frowned. Where's Sophie? Did you abandon her? Mom was stunned. She said she was coming to find you. I've been with Olivia the whole time. I haven't seen her. I shot to my feet. Panic rising. We need to look for her, it's Sophie's first gala. What if she got lost? My parents immediately joined the search. Terrified Sophie might cause a scene. Olivia volunteered to help. And our frantic group soon drew curious stares from other guests. When I burst into tears, a few onlookers trailed behind us, hungry for drama. Olivia soon returned with a trembling waiter who looked utterly out of his depth. Miss Martin, she asked me how to get to the penthouse earlier. I thanked him breathlessly before sprinting toward the elevators. But when the doors slid open, I froze. Every muscle locked as my brain short-circuited. Weren't they supposed to be in their room? Torn fabric littered the floor where Sophie's dress had been shredded. My stomach dropped. She must have tried to escape Ethan when the drugs kicked in. Only for him to overpower her right here. Someone shoved me from behind, sending me sprawling across the carpet. The crowd surged forward, gasping as the scene unfolded, 2 naked bodies writhing grotesquely against the hallway wall. A live stream captured one blurred second before the account got banned. I lunged at Ethan like a feral animal, clawing his face with my nails and stabbing his legs with my stilettos. My parents finally snapped into action, herding guests back into elevators to contain the scandal. Too late. By dawn, the video of Sophie and Ethan had gone viral, scandalizing every elite circle in the city. Back home, Sophie locked herself in her bedroom without a word. Dad shattered 3 vases roaring about family disgrace, while Mom rolled her eyes and retreated upstairs. The cameras off. Our picture-perfect family imploded. Hashtag Sophie Martin Ethan Brown exploded to the top of trending by noon. I didn't hesitate, I filed a police report that same hour. Ethan had always been a predator enabled by his father's wealth. And the evidence piled up fast. Girls he'd assaulted emerged with hospital records and tearful testimonies. When his trial began, I live-streamed daily reminders to keep public pressure boiling. The Brown Group's stock plummeted as Olivia bided her time, only stepping in to rescue the company when desperate board members begged. With his father facing lawsuits, Ethan's final sentence came swift, life imprisonment without parole for multiple rapes, including one fatal overdose and a survivor left paralyzed. I told Sophie the news, but she remained silent. That night, however, she attempted suicide by cutting her wrists in her room. When I received word that Sophie had regained consciousness, I was sitting on the visitor's sofa in my father's office. He gestured to the young man beside him. Emily, this is Lucas. You'll support him properly to strengthen the Johnson family legacy. My father spoke bluntly without preamble. Nice to meet you, sis. I'm Lucas. The man extended his hand with practiced charm. I stared at my father for 3 full seconds before shaking the offered hand. Does Mom know about this? She'll find out eventually. My father shrugged, gazing at Lucas with unmistakable pride. Nausea churned in my stomach. Their staged familial warmth confirmed what I already knew: this was a warning. My earlier confrontation with Ethan, where I'd claimed authority to represent Johnson family interests, had raised red flags. To him, I'd always be the pretty ornament sustained by his generosity, unfit for real power. After measured silence, I suggested, "Sophie's awake. Will you visit her with me?" His face twisted in disgust. "Don't mention that disgrace. I'll have a spiritual cleanser purify the house later. You should stay away too." Surviving was her final failure. The venom in his words could have corroded steel. I said nothing as he dismissed me with perfunctory instructions. My car remained parked in the underground garage. The passenger door suddenly swung open. Lucas slid in, breathing heavily from his sprint downstairs. I handed him a water bottle. "We need to accelerate the timeline." He gulped the water eagerly. "Relax, sis. The old man trusts me completely. Give me 2 weeks and you'll hear fireworks." A surprised laugh escaped me. Studying his sharp profile, I marveled at life's ironies. Though only 23, Lucas had spent 2 years as father's personal assistant. In my previous life, after my death, he'd systematically dismantled the Johnson empire, revealing himself as the scorned illegitimate heir. His mother had believed father's sweet lies until her dying day, succumbing to depression 3 years ago. Now we shared common ground, both wronged children seeking retribution. When I'd approached him after my rebirth, it took 3 clandestine meetings to forge our alliance. As Lucas disappeared into the parking structure shadows, I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. This time, we'd rewrite the ending. The perpetrators, the bystanders. I won't let any of them get away. After leaving the Johnson family, I went to the hospital to visit Sophie. Ever since she woke up, she'd been staring blankly out the window. Following her gaze, I saw my new advertisement. I motioned for the caregiver to leave and sat down in the visitor's chair, quietly peeling an apple. "You've won." Sophie finally spoke, her voice dripping with venom. "You must be so proud of yourself for driving me to this." I chuckled softly. "Sophie, what are you talking about? How could I possibly be forcing you? Didn't you charge headfirst into this mess yourself?" She glared at me with pure hatred. With Ethan imprisoned and her last hope shattered, she'd become trapped between living in agony and being under my surveillance. Her composure had long since crumbled. Suddenly, she started screaming hysterically. "Emily, aren't you afraid of karma? I'm your own sister. How could you be so cruel? Why are you doing this to me?" I finished my apple leisurely before answering with icy calm. "What if this is just karma coming full circle?" Sophie froze, tears streaming silently down her face as my words sank in. "You blame me for stealing our parents' love," I continued, voice trembling despite my efforts to stay composed. "But did you ever notice me begging on my knees for them to treat you kindly? Did you see the decades I spent caring for you? Tell me, Sophie, who's the real monster here?" 2 lifetimes. And I still couldn't understand why I was the one being hated. Sophie let out a broken laugh. "Emily, you don't understand. Growing up, I never had birthday celebrations. I'd wait all day for scraps of attention. Even the staff ignored me. The world didn't know the Johnsons even had a younger daughter. I was erased, forced to exist like some gutter rat." Her bandages seeped crimson as she raved, resembling a deranged specter. "And you? The golden child, shoving your pity down my throat with stories of your glamorous life and hand-me-down trinkets. Your charity has always made me sick." I laughed coldly, disgusted. "Yet you never refused anything. How pathetic." Standing, I looked down at her trembling form. "Don't worry, sis. Since you've failed to earn our parents' affection alone, I'll help you. With your heart condition, you'll stay here permanently. I'll recall the caregivers, let the Johnsons take care of you themselves." My smile sharpened. "No need to thank me." After speaking, I walked away without looking back. Sophie only remembers her own suffering. She forgot how I bought her a personal cake and sang happy birthday to her in countless dark nights. 2 rows of men in black stood outside the hospital room. I issued cold commands. Keep watch on her. Yes. Evil requires evil to restrain. I won't let Sophie die, that'd be too merciful. I'll have her treated. Undergo surgeries. I want her to live well. To fully experience this world colder than midwinter. A month later, Johnson Entertainment officially changed ownership. Mr. Johnson aged a decade overnight. Glaring daggers at me standing behind Lucas. I waved cheerfully at him before having him escorted to the hospital. Lucas had both capability and ambition. I believed the Johnson empire would thrive under his leadership. Though our family got banned for explicit scenes, it didn't stop me from becoming the biggest beneficiary. Not only did I gain 10 million followers, but that crimson dress also became my rebranding triumph. Overnight, major productions came knocking. I publicly shed the celebrity heiress label. From then on, I'd be the industry's leading lady. On a tropical beach, I lounged in swimwear under the sun. The director's cut. Signaled wrap. Back at the hotel, Aunt Wang grumbled while packing my luggage. My phone buzzed with a nurse's video message. You bitch. Picky about food when I'm feeding you? Slap. Eat now. The footage showed Mrs. Johnson's dyed hair now straw-like, haphazardly tied. When Sophie danced wildly, her mother slapped her. They tussled while Mr. Johnson watched silently. I paused before replying, no more videos needed. Just keep monitoring. Sending this. I walked to the floor, to the ceiling windows. The endless blue sea brought final closure. A shout interrupted Emily. Keep staring and I'll toss you in. Move it. We're late for the film festival. Turning, I saw Aunt Wang struggling with 3 suitcases. Snapping a photo. I hurried over. Coming.